Good morning. It's Josh here again with part two of this mini video series, I suppose. Yesterday's video uh, looked at how I used Geegeez, the race cards function, and all the stats and all the form and different indicators and the pace and the draw and everything else. In order to help formulate part of the blog post, namely the stats angles of interest section. I kind of have three bits to putting together that part of the post now. You've seen the first part. The second part involves using the stats and the stats reports within Geegeez Gold. And the third part involves using my trainer track profiles report, noting down any horse of interest from all of that lot, and trying to narrow down on a value bet or two. So this video, I promise to keep this much shorter. I just want to whiz through some of the reports just so you get a feel for what I look at and the process I go through every day, every afternoon, and so you can see kind of what is out there and what's available within Geegeez Gold, and kind of how I use it and everything else. So you can see me hovering over the tabs here at the top. Race cards, you've seen everything to do with those. The reports, there are many. Well, how many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12. And I suppose if I go through the order that I kind of look at them, Sire snippets is new, but I'll go on that soon. So the idea of these is really to bring in to one place a hell of a lot of information which is easily accessible, easy to use, and highlights potential horses of interest in no time at all. So I can look at today's stats or tomorrow's, and I'm recording this on Thursday the 26th, and I want to make notes for Friday, so click on tomorrow. Here we're looking at trainers' form with their first time out 2-year-olds. Now there's a lot of filters here at the top, so you can sort this and save it so that every time you upload a report it lists them in the order of your preferences. I don't really do any of that. I prefer to just click the win percentage here. You can click the different things and it will order the trainers. So I will click win percentage, and it will order the one with the highest win percentage at the top. You may care for profit, so you can order it by profit, all of these categories. So you can look at the trainer's 1-year form with first time out 2-year-olds, how many runners they've had, the winners, obviously the trainer, the places, their profit loss, and importantly you can click down on the trainer and you can see which horses are running with the race and everything else. And I'm recording this at 10 to 2, so obviously when the market forms the odds will be put in here as well, the best available price. So you've got 1-year form, 2-year form. That's the one I kind of look to, 1 year and 2 year I suppose, to get a feel. Richard Farr, he has a lot of runners, he's profitable, but that might well be down to 1 or 2 big price winners. So you've got 2-year form, and the great tab as well, and the one I use most I suppose with all of these stats reports where applicable, is the course form. So you get course form for the last 5 years. If I put win percentage, we can see there John Gosden has had 15, well, he sent out 15 2-year-olds first time in the last 5 years at Haydock. 6 have won, 7 have placed. That's decent enough profit. They're performing 106% above market expectations. Those kind of stats are decent, and I am just noting them down as I did yesterday, and I'll just make a note, wait for the market before, maybe have a look. But they're a solid set of stats. You could back John Gosden first time out 2-year-olds at Haydock, I think, with probably some confidence that over time you would do fairly well. So the 210 Haydock is Hyde Park. So I've just noted that down. You may want to look at other trainers. Charlie Hills at Bath, he hasn't sent many, he's only sent 3, 2 have placed. Darrell Holland, who is his main jockey now, is on. That may be of interest, although I think his big price winner may have been recently. And of course for these first time 2-year-olds, they could be in a maiden race, they could be in a novice race. which obviously they're increasing numbers of those novice races. Brian Meehan at Bath, 2 from 8. He's been a bit out of form, and so far his ones making debut haven't done that well. I suspect he may well be a system qualifier, but they're not uploaded in my database yet. So yeah, that's first time out 2-year-olds. The John Gosden one, I mean, normally they're probably well found in the market, but you never know, it might be a decent price. So that's first time out 2-year-olds. You have trainer change, so this looks at horses that are running for a trainer for the first time, switching yards. Clearly some trainers have a better record at doing this than others. This is just looking at, well, this is today's actually. Jane Chapel Hyam, the time this is probably recorded and sent out, this race may have run, but you've got Power Up, Mr. Willens in the 6:55 in Newcastle. That one's drifted a bit because I looked at that this morning. But anyway, let's look at tomorrow. So yeah, who have we got? Kieran Burke, or Carl Burke even. Call him the wrong name. Hold on. So yeah, he's done okay. I mean, it's what we're looking at 1 year. That's quite a small sample, really. Is there anyone else in the last year? Not overly. This profit figure is quite big for Ian Jardine. 2 years. Carl Burke again. So yeah, his 2-year stats are quite solid actually. So inner knowing may be interesting, and from memory the trainer's also actually in decent form. So that's another one I might note down. I mean, I'm looking for that particular part of the blog, I want horses that are kind of 10-1 or bigger. That's the kind of new approach with that bit. So obviously the market's very important, as well as looking at their chance in the context of the race. That may be a 3-year-old only handicap, which are tricky, but the point of this is you can interpret the stats in any way you see fit. You may interpret them and put more value on certain stats and certain figures than I would say, and maybe more happy to back some of them systematically and vice versa. Again, you've got the course form option, so we can see if any trainers target a specific course with new recruits. Ellison arguably does his profit loss. It's okay, but so that's there. Ian Jardine sent 7 to Musselburgh, none of 1. That might be interesting in itself. So that's the trainer's change. Handicap, this is one of my favourite reports. And every now and then we'll throw a priced winner or two. So this looks at trainers who are having a handicap first time runner, first time going a handicap. I should just slide down to the bottom here actually. Underneath each of the reports there's an explanation for how it works, the different things to look for, some useful hints I should say, and there's a user guide as well that kind of talks through everything to do with Geegeez Gold. So I'm going to click the win percentage. That's what I like doing. Hold on, just let that load. No, there we go. So yeah, I've got 2-year form. So Miss Gay Kellaway does okay. 4 from 21, 7 places. Profit loss is okay. That might be one I want to note down, and then have a look at some other stats and see what else might be in that horse's favour. Yeah, they're solid if unspectacular. I mean, the profit loss figures for some of these is pretty low, suggesting the horses are over bet. Against, you've got that. There's nothing real stand out there. Let me just look at the 1-year form. So David Lanigan, he might have changed approach. He's done okay. The he won his maiden though, and the profit loss figures suggest that his are quite well backed, or indeed are put in at a very short price. So there may not be much value there. David O'Meara's profitable, but the strike rate may be lower than I would think is ideal. He's a bit out of form also, but those two runners could be interesting. The course 5-year form, we've already looked at 2-year form. Let's see if there's anyone. Well, no, not really. Those stats aren't strong enough necessarily to kind of wade in with anything, but it is interesting also. You get to see the trainers that haven't done so well, and Mark Johnson sent 15 new recruits to Haydock, none have won, 4 have placed. Michael Dodds has sent 10, and you may use that, some of you may like laying horses, or you may use that as information when looking at that particular race. So we've done that. Trainer wasn't much there. Trainer jockey combo stats, these ones are good. Posers from the previous day's results, so let's have a look. It's just slowing down a bit. So here you get to look at recent form, overall form. You've got the filters again here, so you can sort in a way that suits you. Again, I just click win percentage at the top right hand corner here. You can look at all their form or just break it down by handicaps. For kind of general form, I suppose I like to look at all of it. We are looking at tomorrow. Want to see which combos are in decent form. Alan King and Hutchinson are 5 from 10, 7 places in the last 2 weeks. So that's interesting. Clive Cox, Appleby, Buick, Clive Cox, and Adam Kirby have been doing well recently. So that indicates that the trainer's in form, the jockey's riding well. That's useful kind of background information. I'd never necessarily use that as a way in, although I'm sure some people do as a starting point to find decent bets. I like looking at you've got the course, you've got the last year, so the form when teaming up in the last year. And again, I click win percentage. Here I'm looking for kind of, 25, 30% or higher. Win strike rate, a decent level of profit, and a kind of decent enough sample sizes. With trainer behaviour, jockey behaviour, you're never going to get massive sample sizes. So you have to kind of interpret it as you see fit. But what am I doing here? Sorry. So Gosden and Havlin are 11 from 28, 15 places with all runners here, decent level of profit. That's that I am. Alan King, Hutchinson at Worcester, 4 from 11, decent enough. Fahy Garrity at Pontefract, that's interesting. Is that going to be a novice race? What else have we got? Easterby, Mick Easterby and Graham Gibbons at Pontefract. So that's the kind of course 1 year. You can go further back and look at 5 years. I am doing this kind of cold. I haven't been through these reports as yet at all, so you're seeing what I'm seeing for the first time. So if I update to handicaps, which is generally where I like to play in really, we can have a look to see who does well when teaming up in handicaps. So I'm just scanning. I've clicked on the win percentage, so I've got 100% all the way down. I suppose I could click on profit if I wanted. Again, Fahy Garrity come up there with handicaps, but their runner wasn't in the handicap, so nothing comes up. Kevin Ryan and Graham Lee at Haydock, that's okay. And Kevin Ryan's in okay form as well. He won last time out, so won't necessarily, probably won't be a big price, but I'll note him down anyway. Bear with me. What else have we got? We've already had Gosden and Havlin. I don't think any of theirs were in handicaps. No. So this is a fun one. So Cannon and Mongan at Worcester, 4 teamed up 13 times in handicaps, 4 winners, 6 have placed for a massive 49 points, 49.5 points profit to SP. That's interesting. So he'll get noted down. What's the name of the horse? So yeah, I'm just, like I said, I'm just noting down at the moment, so then go back and have a look. Kind of in the context of their race, if there's other things that support the horse's chance, the horse's form, kind of using some of the stuff I did yesterday, and building up a case for a horse to see if we can make a case. What else? O'Meara Nolan at Musselburgh. That's another okay one. Then the percentages start to drop, but again, it's all personal preference and how you like to bet. You can sort by profit. Obviously, some of these are going to be small numbers. Dascombe and Kingscote, there we go. I think you can just back most of theirs in handicaps. Well, the stats suggest you can. So does my trainer track profiles report actually. Easterby and Richardson at Pontefract. So yeah, that's that. Quite straightforward really. That you can get individual jockey stats, individual trainer stats, the same thing. Who's in form, who's out of form, their stats with all their runners at a track the last 5 years or the last year, or their handicap runners. There's Best of Instant Expert, which kind of brings together some of, well, I'll just click on it, I suppose, rather than me talking. Might be best, just to demonstrate it. I don't really use this one too much. Which will probably be clear when I try and talk through it. But yes, this kind of gives a kind of overview of who ticks a lot of the boxes in terms of going, class, course, distance, field, and kind of who's doing okay, and you can use that to go in and have a closer look. There's head-to-head record. There's horses for courses. Let's have a look. Let me just check how long we've been going. 17 minutes, that's okay. I wanted to keep this one to about 20, so we're doing okay. To help if this loaded up. I think that means there may be none today. Let's have a look at tomorrow. I don't think that can be right. I just think my computer's just having a meltdown. Or because of the time I'm looking at this early in the afternoon, they may not have loaded up fully, because I'm sure there will be some course and distance runs today. Right, we'll ignore that. Live videos, hey. Right, what else have we got? The short list, that's quite good actually. That brings together, oh, there we go. Horses for courses, and now I've just left it. Just loaded up. Was taking quite a while on my computer, probably because I'm using this software. So we've got the short list again. That explains how that works below, and that kind of takes away the best horses. So this is today's. This uses the Instant Expert as a kind of scoring mechanism, and adding up those that have green across all the different factors you can see there. Those that green and amber, etc., all the way down. That can be a good starting point actually as a way in to have a look, and you can see some of those down there. I can use this tomorrow to have a look. Again, you can sort that by win and place. I mean, there's just a lot, many different ways you can do different things. So you got there Rosina, Young Dylan, and I might use that as a starting point to then go back in to all the reports. You've got hot form. I know I've mentioned this a couple of times on the blog actually. This allows you to look at a horse's recent run, how many horses have come out of it, how many have run well, how many have won. Let's have a look at tomorrow. So you can look at all these, or 4 races in the last 30 days. I like sorting it by wins, this one. So if I put this up, I think this might be one of those races we've mentioned before actually. This Bath race, the hot race date, 26th of April. So all of these seem to have run in that same race. Yes, it would appear so. But that's worked out quite well. So it'll be interesting how that works out, given most of them have ran against each other before. I might want to look somewhere different. Darryl Rivers, so he was second in this race. 15 horses have run since, 4 have won, 6 have placed. So that might be worth closer inspection. Then you can click on the race, and that will open up the race, and you can have a look. So on and so on. Hopefully that's quite clear. So I'll kind of look through all those things, make any notes. Like I said, my kind of own preferences for the first time 2-year-olds to an extent if the stats are strong. Handicap, first time in a handicap, and trainer jockey combo are the two that I really like to look at in terms of to help me give more information alongside my own report and the race cards. So looking at Darryl Rivers here, I just want to look. So he ran Windsor then, 2nd of May. Came second. Race has worked out well, but he's since run at Lingfield and hasn't done so well. And maybe he doesn't like the all-weather, and he might return to that form. Now he's back on turf. The trainer did have a winner the other night, if I seem to recall. That might be an interesting angle in for that horse, and that race deserves a bit more attention. There's head-to-head records, and finally, I'll touch on the Sire snippets. So this is a new report in the last few weeks, I think. If I change that to all, so you can, just having a look at Sires. I know one you mentioned, the Midgley 2-year-old who placed at 40 to 1, I think, yesterday or the day before. He was actually by Helmet. He came up on this report that day. So I remember looking at it and noting it down, but not backing it. As a sire that had kind of done really well so far with as limited run as he has had. Again, you can sort that by win percentage. There we go. Tomorrow Helmet has another runner, and so far they've all gone quite well. He's responsible for 2 of those wins, this horse. Again, you can sort by you can sort by race type. So if I scoot down to the bottom, you can sort by these different ways. So race type sorts it into the sire's record in those different race types you can see there. Distance range, there's certain distance ranges there, flat and jumps, and the age range as well. So they're all important factors when looking at sires. I know some of you really like your breeding and unexposed horses and everything. So I haven't got into using this report fully yet, and I should probably take a bit. Pay more attention to it, because there's some fantastic information within it, which is all crucial to helping kind of decide what to bet on. So I think that is that. I wanted to keep this fairly short. So as you saw in my previous video, part 1, I go through the race cards. I have a look to see if there's an uncompetitive race. If something stands out, if a trainer's in form. I suppose I could, having noted down the Mongan Cannon horse, let's just have a look. That was 850 at Worcester. Handicap hurdle. So this is the kind of thing I would do. I'd note down that trainer jockey combo horse, because those stats were decent enough. I'd then have a look at this race. Now this is when I start to, get more interested. Miss Mongan has a green 14, 5+ runs the last 14 days, 20% win. That indicates she's in form. Let's have a look. And she is in form. The horse, let's have a look. Ran a handicap hurdle after a break. Tongue tie and cheek pieces, same on again here. Disputed lead most of the way. Close 5th, jumping last week and running. Now that description gives the impression of a horse that may have needed the run and needed the outing. He was 16 to 1, so he was a close 5th, jumped the last fine, and then kind of faded a little bit. Then I can, I don't know his form yet. I might, then I'll click this to have a look. If anything stands out. If it's uncompetitive, I suppose Powder on the Bonnet is one that hits you in the face straight away. Look at the numbers that have proved they may not actually stay. He's £3 below his mark, so this is the first time I have looked at this race. So the 850 Powder on the Bonnet is getting a note down. Oh my word, so is Kill Rush. £18 below his highest winning mark. Now he's going to have to be, he's 1 from 1 at the course, he's 1 over the distance, he's 1 at the class, the ground's fine. Now we've got R1, Awesome, I don't know how we pronounce that, so he's 1 on good, he's 1 at the class. The distance and stamina is going to be the tricky thing. And he's run 6 times over this trip, or similar trips, and finished unplaced. And he's 9, so he's asking himself to do something different there. But then, having said that, if I have a quick look down, so you know you're kind of hearing my thought process here as much as anything. Fontwell over 27 furlongs. No extra when headed towards finish. That's Fontwell. It's 27 furlongs. That's quite a stiff finish there. That was off 95. Comes here off 85. Suddenly stamina isn't such a worry for me there. I don't think that's something that'd be used as an excuse. So from that quick little look, we've got Kill Rush, this one, Laura Mongan, and Powder on the Bonnet are 3 that kind of stand out as looking interesting. But that's a quick look without having kind of had much further look into it, and it'll be interesting what the market does. But that's that. I've gone on long enough, probably a few minutes longer than I wanted to. My aim with this one was to show you the reports and the stats. Now you can use those as a way in, and how I use them as kind of part, 3 parts to creating that stats angles of interest blog post, using a majority of those reports, going through, making notes on the horses that interest me, then using the race cards, then using all the different tools on here. I might then use a bit of horse race base as well, the race cards, the profiler tool there, and different things. So kind of using all of that to come up with the content for the blog. So that's that really. I hope you found this one enjoyable, and it's gone slightly quicker than the other one. Hopefully you found that useful. As always, any questions, any comments, always welcome. There is another link below this video if you do want to try out Geegeez Gold. It's £5 for a couple week trial. It then goes up to £24 a month. I know that will be steep for some of you. If you like picking your own horses, if you like analysing race yourself and you have a bit of time, I would advise giving it a go. You can cancel any time, and as I said, Matt's putting up the price next Monday, I think, or the 1st of June, whenever that is, to I think over £30 per month. It's £24 a month at the moment. If you get in now, you'll be able to get that price. I would give it a go. I think it's the best bit of kit out there, and the best way to kind of see is to try it for yourself, really. It isn't for everyone, it won't be for everyone, but it will be for some of you, and some of you will think, in 6 months time will wonder what you did before you got hold of Geegeez Gold. I am a convert, but you've seen how I use it every day, and I never mind banging on about how good this bit of kit is. So with that said, I will leave it there. The link's below the video. I hope you've enjoyed this instalment, and until the next time, goodbye.